the game.
Wins the game.
Big Pappy has given the Leafs the lead. This time we're going to finish the job.
This team, and there is no more sugarcoating it, is absolutely brutal. And we know exactly who they are and what they are at this point in the season. The Toronto Maple Leafs lose 7, I don't even remember the end score. I think 7-4 against the Buffalo Sabres. This team is finished. They are not going to make the playoffs. They are far too out. This was the last home game for a month. The next home game is a month from now. It's hard to believe, but Lord knows we all need a break from the Toronto Maple Leafs at this point. But the Leafs lost on Daryl Sittler night, because why would they ever rise to an occasion? It's just not in their DNA. It's not in their DNA. And for a lot of talk about DNA last summer from Brad Shiliving, there's going to be a change in DNA, because, guys, I've been the optimistic one for a long time at this point. There's going to be some firings. And I don't think they're going to come tomorrow. But I do think some trades are coming after the trade freeze for the Olympics. They're going to ride out the next couple of games, but there's going to be some conversations. And I want to get to that in this stream as well, because I think Bobby McMahon could be on his way out of Toronto. But we'll save that for a video as well. I want to talk about some positives real quick, because there's way too many negatives. Way too many negatives. But I do want to talk about some positives for a sec. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into the live stream. We got a bunch of you guys in here already, because I'm sure everybody is absolutely rip-roaring mad, just like I am. And I will get to some comments in a second. But I'm sure everyone is just absolutely fed up with this garbage. Now, two things I want to point out. 2 goals that the Leafs scored in the first period tonight were both the same way. Getting to the front of the net, causing controlled chaos. And I like it. Domi puts a shot on goal. Matthews cleans up the rebound. The skill shines through. I like it. They were driving the net. Then, for the majority of the game, the rest of the game, a lot of pretty perimeter play, which is what they love to do. Why would you ever go to the dirty areas? This won the Nyes goal. Was the exact same thing. So love to see that one as well. And, just driving the net and, making things happen. So that was cool. That's my positivity for the night. So we can get a little bit more pessimistic now on the stream. But that's honestly, that's pretty much it. Like Riley with a terrible game. I want to get into some stats. We have some new stats here on the channel as well. Let me know if you're loving the new graphics. For those of you who maybe weren't around this morning, we got some new graphics and stuff that we're trying out here on the channel. So let me know how you feel about all that stuff. But I thought these 2 goals were cool. The other thing I wanted to point out here on the stream, since I have all you guys, Leafs, 25th in the league in terms of drawing penalties. I do not believe, because I didn't watch the last 5 minutes of that horrendous effort again. I don't believe they had a power play tonight. So 25th in the league in drawing penalties. Sure, man. I don't know. And even if you go on the power play, what are you going to do on the power play? Nothing. So I did want to just point that out. So leave the box score up for you guys here. Some interesting stuff too, in terms of time on ice again. So, that's cool. That's interesting. We'll get into some comments now. Profit, how's it going, guys? Mark, welcome everybody into the chat. I am flustered today, because I have to be honest, I've been trying to remain optimistic for so long, and I'm gonna get real candid on this stream for you guys. I've been trying to remain optimistic for so long, because this team for some reason has beaten hope into my very soul, and for some reason I continue to believe that they're going to show us anything different than what they've actually shown us for the last 10 years on a night-to-night basis, which might be a lot to ask sometimes. But I don't know if some of these guys understand what it is to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. I don't know. That first of all, but on a higher level, this coach is no longer right for this team, because the players will not do what he's asking them to do. They did it right at the end. I did see Matthews dump the puck in for a second with the goalie pulled, and he went after the puck. Cool. Thanks for doing that right at the end of the game. And the GM's got to go too. Do you guys trust Brad Treliving to tear this down? First of all, you shouldn't tear it down. You have a lot of really good pieces. But that's where I'm at with this. I don't know how you proceed forward with most of these people still employed. But we'll get into that. Daniel saying Riley had an awful game. Twisted by Design, welcome in. Recognize your username as well. Brube needs to go stat. You can't polish a turd. Yes, the new graphics. Appreciate you guys enjoying that. A lot of new cool stuff coming to the channel as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Austin Matthews, 3 points. Woo! Awesome. So what you're paid to do. I have to say though, like, I'm frustrated with Matthews sometimes, but I will look back on him fondly. Like, I'm not ready to say that he should be traded or anything like that, but when it's all said and done years and years and years from now, I will look back at him as a very good player. I will. But I am very frustrated with a lot of things that are going on right now. Look at the bright side. Someone at MLSE might be playing 4D chess and has figured out that this is the best chance at winning the last game Joe Bowen ever calls. Well, the last game Joe Bowen ever calls, I think, is going to be game 82 of this season, because I don't think he's going to get to call a playoff game, just like Sam Rosen didn't get to call a playoff game. Excuse me, wrong button, for the New York Rangers last year. Historic career, and his last game was game 82. Absolute joke. But sorry, I'm a little bit behind on the chat here, trying to catch up, guys. But for all of the optimists out there, I do want to bring something up, Prophet, but I will continue reading your question. For all of us optimists out there, there is one last straw. Willie's return to the lineup. If nothing changes after that, it's over. It's I love the optimist and Prophet, and I try to lead my life as an optimist. Every day, I wake up, I open my eyes, and I go, today's going to be a great day, right? And then I look at the Leafs, and I'm like, there's a possibility that they win tonight. And I did that tonight, and I said, Sabres are a good team. There's a possibility that the Leafs can win tonight, right? This is so over. I can't even describe it to you in words. I cannot articulate to you guys on stream here or in a video tomorrow or a video the next day how over all of this is at this point. And again, this is just how I feel after a game. But look at the stretch of games that are coming up now. Now you have Seattle, who's fighting for a playoff spot. They're probably going to wipe the floor with the Leafs, let's be honest, on Thursday. If you lose to Vancouver Saturday, I mean, make a trade before you leave for the Olympics. And then you got Calgary and Edmonton coming up, and you don't play a home game for a month. It's over. It's over. The one thing I wanted to bring up in terms of optimism, Prophet, Matias Maccelli. Been on the train for a long time. Been on the train for a very long time. He has been, since, that whole thing with him being scratched, he missed a bunch of games, and then he got put in against Nashville. He has been unbelievable. Like, this guy is fantastic, and it's not just his stats, and they're not even like that good if you take a look at them, right? Like, nothing crazy, although he's in like a pretty good percentile in terms of the league, and he's missed a lot of games because he was scratched. But he has been very good, and it's the work ethic. Like, he beat out that icing at the end because he was like, I am not going to get scored on. I don't see that effort from a lot of other guys that make a lot of more money. So anyway, it's just like the little things. I thought that was cool. I said Maccelli was going to have a good year. I think he is still having a good year. Maybe you look at selling Maccelli, right? Like the whole contract situation. Ideally, you like to hold on to a player like this in an ideal situation, but this is certainly less than ideal. So Morgan Riley has been real bad season this year as well. Bring him up here now. Again, if you look at some of the analytics, like, they're okay, I guess, but it's just like the plus minus is an issue. He's getting beat on so many plays. I don't know if he's a number one well, he's not a number one defenseman, and he is getting deployed out there like he is because they have no other choice. It's awful. It's awful. Again, I'll get to some other stuff here. I'll get to some of the comments. I blame Brendan Shanahan. I totally agree. I mean, I know he's gone now, but like, Marner should have been traded in 2023. Marner should have been traded in 2023 so you could get something back for him. They knew he was leaving. We had reports last week that you knew the guy was leaving, and you decided to ride it out because you're stubborn and you wanted to say, I did it, if they ended up winning the cup. And we all knew that group was not going to be able to win the cup. And who did we get out of it? We got Nick Waugh. We got Nick Waugh on the third line. Woohoo! Sittler, and it was Sittler night tonight. Couldn't get up for that game either. Couldn't get up for that. Yeah, just awful. And like, do I place all the blame on Treliving? I think Treliving's actually said a lot of really smart things over the last 2 years. I think that he's come out, but has he put it into action? I don't know. And what's a man supposed to do at the trade deadline when, trades are falling through? He wanted to get Braden Shen. He ended up with Scott Law, and he wanted to get somebody else. He ends up with Brandon Carlo. At that moment, we were all excited. The Leafs have an opportunity to win the Stanley Cup, and then you found out they still don't have it between the ears. So what, I don't know, True Living said a lot of really smart things. We need to change our DNA. I totally agree. When is that going to happen? Is there a timeline for that? Can I check back in when that time comes? When is that going to happen? We need to change our DNA. The guys on this team don't understand what it is to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. Like, it's not the same. Like, there's other players that come into this building because they're from here, and that's a big night for them. And I'm not asking the Leafs to rise to the occasion every single night. There's games where, I don't name a city, they lose in Utah. Everyone's like, you know what? Like, I don't care. Whatever. Like, that one, wash your hands of it. Like, that one, we really don't care. But there's games you got to get up for that they constantly don't. I don't understand. Now I'm just ranting. Sorry. I'll get back on track here. But they played bad. That's right. Rick is saying all the Leafs care about is money. They don't care if they win or lose. Players don't give a rat's ass. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. Michelli is a very good player. I told you guys in the summer. I'm just saying. I was a big fan of him from day one. But he doesn't make the difference. He doesn't make the difference. He's a good complementary player, and he's showing that now. But he doesn't make the difference, right? So it's a group effort. When you dump the puck in, go get it. That's my point. They do so much. This team, a lot of what I saw tonight, because I watched the whole game except for the last 5 minutes. The whole team, this team puck watches when they're in the offensive zone. I've never seen that. I've never seen it. Everyone talks about puck watching, like Nylander does it in the defensive zone, right? Like, so many guys are bad at that throughout the years on this team, puck watching in the defensive zone. And so many, like, kids do it coming up through hockey. Like, it's a thing, right? It's a phenomenon, puck watching. This team puck watches, I saw it tonight, in the offensive zone when they have the puck. There was an opportunity where Nick Robertson kind of loses the puck. It's coming out of the zone. Jake McCabe's waiting for him to get the puck. No, you go get the puck. You're the defenseman. Why are you puck watching? So many times Matthews kicks it off to somebody. He's moving. He's looking for it. McMahon kicks it off, and he stands there. And then the defensemen are just standing there with their sticks like this. Like, wait. What? The Sabres are covering you. You got to do something. Move. They puck watch in the offensive zone. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. You have the puck, and you're puck watching. Like, I noticed that tonight. It was so obvious tonight. And I don't know. I'm not really looking for that specifically other nights. I don't know if they've done it. Maybe I go back and watch tape. But, like, tonight, and they're puck watching with the puck in the offensive zone. Mind-boggling. They are so checked. Like, they're just waiting for the Olympic break. And a lot of them are hurt. Matthew Nyes is hurt. I get it, right? You don't have enough runway after. You don't. I think they're done. They're done. This team is probably done. I'll pull up the Atlantic standings here for you guys here. Bottom of your screen. Check it out here in a second. The Senators somehow having a worse season, by the way. But they are so far outside of the playoff race right now. This is the Atlantic Division standings. Buffalo obviously keeps third place. Detroit, Tampa, they're running away with it right now. It's not good. It's not good. Like, definitely awful. Hindsight 2020, I really wish we made the Nyes for Rantanen trade. I was among the group who didn't want this trade to happen. A healthy Matthew Nyes is a really good player. And Rantanen is a fantastic player. But a healthy Matthew Nyes, let's not lose sight of it and how young he is, right? I think, you can build, maybe not around a guy like that, but he's a really, really good piece for this team. So I try to keep that in perspective, but having Rantanen would be real cool as well. So Mark is saying, keep Michelli, Tavares, OEL, Carlos, Stetcher, Lawton, Cowan. I would flip, out of that entire list, I do agree, I would flip Stetcher and Carlo because I think Stetcher's trade value is actually very high right now. And I think a lot of teams want a right shot defenseman like the Detroit Red Wings, so Brandon Carlo could be had. I would flip those two pieces. I'm also skeptical about selling because you're going to be worse and you don't have your first rounder, right? But I guess accumulate whatever assets you can. Sure. I guess. Don't even want to look at the standings. I totally agree. Imagine after the Olympics they go 20-1. I mean, like, that would be the most Leaf thing to do ever. That's I mean, they scored that goal with 5 minutes left, I think, tonight, and I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they scored 2 more and then lost in overtime, right? That's what they do. That's what they do. That's their DNA. That is what they do. they'll disappoint you throughout a series, but it's tight, right? And then they'll go into a game 5 and have a tremendous, collapse or something like that. And it's like all hope is lost. They lost the series. And it's happened multiple times throughout the years. They've lost the series. And they come back with this heroic win in game 6 where you're like, anything is possible. The Toronto Maple Leafs are so back. And then they shit the bed in game 7. They do it all the time. That's what they do. I was totally expecting them to score 2 more goals tonight to then shit the bed in overtime. But they didn't. They couldn't even give us that. Couldn't even give us that moment. So that's where we're at with this team. Woo, Craig Berube. He did go on a crazy run in 2019 with the Blues. It wasn't 21, but it was pretty spectacular. They were in last place on the 1st of January, actually. But we are now on the 27th of January, and the schedule has been so condensed because we are about to have almost an entire month off. So it's over. It's over. And I don't think, I just want to say this too. I don't think Matthews is as bad as a leader as most people make it out to be. And I think a lot of people that carry this narrative are, majority of people, I know there's a lot of Leaf fans that do say this, majority of the people who carry out this narrative are not Leafs fans. I don't think he's as bad as a leader. But I have to say, when I was watching the Amazon documentary from last year, for Berube to tell him to get up and to go lead is a bad look. Bad look, because you should just be leading, and you should be leading by example. And guys, I don't care. I've been trying to remain professional on the channel for the last year and a half or whatever, how long you guys have been watching. I try to give my take mixed in with what's happening, the news or whatever. I'm done now. I'm just going to have fun with it because we need to try and have fun, because I'm going to talk about this team every day and they continue to let me down. So I'm just going to have fun with it now. This team stinks. This team is brutal. We're just going to have fun together. Come join in the misery. Let's hang out after every game, right? We'll chat here in the chat. We'll try to have some fun. Anybody, how was the storm for everyone else? I just hit my microphone, almost launched it off my table. How was the winter storm for everyone else? Hopefully everyone was staying, safe and didn't travel or anything like that. McMahon, I don't want to trade McMahon. There was something before the game wrapped up. There was a report from Elliot Friedman that Edmonton's looking at him. Or maybe I didn't read it correctly. I don't want to put out misinformation or anything like that. Excuse me. But what I thought I saw is Edmonton would be interested in a player like that, and he could be sold. So how much do you think the Oilers would pay for perfect timing profit? How much do you think the Oilers would pay for McMahon a first? I don't know. McMahon is a good player. McMahon is a good player. I want to bring up his stats from this season as well. He's a really good player. Get his stats going from this year. Guess we won't be doing that. Yes, we will. Sorry, guys. Get this going for you. Technical difficulties on the stream, but we'll get McMahon's stats up here for you guys. McMahon's a great player. Look at this. This is a $5 million player, I fear, as the cap is going up. The cap's going up, right? So we have to keep that in mind. But he's a good player. So I fear that he could be traded, and if he's kept, he is going to be expensive. He is going to be expensive. Of course. So maybe you do trade him. I mean, is he I think we got to think differently now. Is he the type of player, and I'm just spitballing here, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'll probably feel different about it, but oh yeah, they're pretty cool. We got some cool stuff here. Take a look at these percentiles and whatnot too, in terms of how he ranks among the league. But time on ice, by the way, odd considering he's now on the first line, but he's been shuffled everywhere throughout the whole year. So that is what it is. But I think we maybe have to look at things differently now, where it's can you live without Bobby McMahon? He's going to make $5 million, possibly. Do you trade him and get a first? Could you get a first round pick for Bobby McMahon? Close, I think. You can get close. So I don't like the idea of selling off. I don't like that idea where everyone's trade Nylander. Like all that stuff I've seen the last couple of days. I don't like that idea. If you can get something for Benoit, and I love Simone Benoit. Every time I bring this up on the channel, people are like, why do you hate Simone Benoit? I love Simone Benoit. Nick and I have been on the Simone Benoit train, if I can find it here, for a long time. For a long time, we've been on the Simone Benoit train. That being said, he can't move the puck. Multiple times tonight, you saw it. Still got McMahon stuff up here. Can't move the puck at all. And if a team wants him, maybe you sell off a guy like Benoit. Maybe you look at McMahon, right? Michelli. Maybe. You do like what Boston did last year, like a quick little turnaround. They're not selling off like their big pieces. And they're like, you know what? We're dealing with a lot of injuries. I think Lindholm was injured a lot of last year. And you just, maybe you circle back next year. There was also a report tonight, which we're going to cover in a video tomorrow. I'll tease it a little bit. Austin Matthews is having constant dialogue with his agent, and he now shares the same agent as Connor McDavid, keep that in mind as well, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the sentiment is he does not want to leave. He does not want to go anywhere else. He wants to be a Maple Leaf, and he wants to be the captain of this team for the foreseeable future. Although he's going to be smart with his contract extensions, like the last one he signed, it's a 4-year deal so he can maximize his earnings. I don't blame the guy for it, as long as he stays. But the sentiment is he wants to be a Maple Leaf. He wants to be the captain. He's going to resign. He does not want to play anywhere else. That is the message. However, the other message that he sent is this team must be competitive. If they are garbage, he is not going to stay. And this is garbage, what we're watching right now. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. The team has never been full strength so far this year. It's an Olympic year, all of that stuff. It's different, right? We can look at all that stuff. Retool a little bit and go at it next year. But this idea of selling off doesn't make sense to me. All these big pieces. I don't know. I think you look at like a couple of them, retool for next year. And for the most part, ride it out. Ride it out. See if you make the playoffs. I think it's unlikely at this point. Ride it out and then do something in the offseason. I don't know if this coach, with the way that the team is right now and the way that they need to go, because they need to add some more youth and some more speed into this lineup because they don't have either of it. And they keep benching guys like Jacob Quillen for some reason after 6 minutes of game time, the last game. I don't know if Berube is the guy to lead this group anymore. I think there was a time and a place for it, and it was last year. They still couldn't get it done. And then there was too much turnover, bad luck. This year, it might be time to somebody else in there with some interesting ideas. Look at Spencer Carberry and what he's doing in Washington. You could look at the Pittsburgh Penguins with Dan Muse. Stuff, you know what? Look at little things like that. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Again, just spitballing here on the stream. But keep sending questions, your thoughts in the chat. I'll keep reading out as many as I can. I'll be live for a bit here because, what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do, guys? This is an interesting one from Bill Sanderson and LFR is my therapy. I appreciate that, Jack. I appreciate that. Shout out to Steve Dangle as well, man. But I don't know how Steve, I don't know how he does it. Love the guy. Love the guy. I don't know how he does it though with this team doing these things. But yeah, Mark saying, we thought we had a great goalie tandem, but Stolarz was not ready 2 nights ago. Also, why did he get the start? He called it. He said, I want to start, therefore I am starting. Who's in charge here? 2 nights ago, and again, Wall is looking behind him too much. Yeah, Wall, even that last goal, I think it was the 6th goal for the Buffalo Sabres. You'd have to stop that one. And I mean, if you look at the other side of things, Colton Point, Colton Ellis, what's his name? Might be Ellis. I think it's Ellis. Colton Point, I think, was a Canadian goaltender, junior goaltender. Colton Ellis for the Buffalo Sabres made some big saves on the other side, right? You need some big saves, and I think Woll made some big saves, and he faced a lot of shots. And Profit, it's a great point. Back in Vegas, everything, when Nylander got hurt again, the vibes did change a little bit. And I don't like this narrative about Nylander. We all know what he is. I'm going to say it now. I'll just say it quickly. We all know what he is, and thank you, Robert. I'll get to it in a second. We all know what Nylander is. He floats a little bit. He's not good defensively, but he's a dynamic offensive player that shows up when it matters most. That is what he is, and I think the team is better with him on it, And I think the team was better years ago with Phil Kessel on it, and they never built around him, and then they blamed everything on him. So I'll just leave it at that. I think you can win with a player like that, but you need the rest of the team to be doing their job as well. We can't just blame everything on William Nylander. He's a very dynamic offensive player. And I will also say, probably don't flip off the camera. But I'll leave that at that. I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. But thank you, Robert, for the $5 donation. Remember, 2 of those goals were from the Leafs. That's because the Sabres don't have any ex-Leafs to score on them. Timmins, but he's hurt. And I forgot about Connor Timmins, now playing for the Buffalo Sabres as well, who look like they're on their way to a playoff berth for the first time since 2011. 2011. That's crazy. But thank you, Robert. Your support has been unbelievable. Nice to see you in the chat again. But yeah, it's the Leafs did score 2 own goals tonight. That is true. Actually, it might have been 3. I think there was another one that deflected off of Stetcher's stick as well. But unbelievable. Unbelievable. As much as, and this is from Terry, and I've been saying this for a long time, I don't want to mention the guy's name. I don't even want to get into what your comment says, but I'm agreeing with the sentiment. Nylander, look at the points from last year's playoffs. Not just last year's playoffs. All the time. Look at the points and look at when the points come. He's a big game player, and he didn't show up for one of those games last year, but neither did everyone else. And you can't every game in the playoffs. It's hard. Not everyone is Connor McDavid. Not everyone is Wayne Gretzky. But I've seen that guy show up in huge moments and score some big goals for this team. So that's it. Yes, Prophet, I did see that, and George Peros came out. I don't want to spend any more time on it. George Peros basically came out, and I'm paraphrasing. This is not the exact quote, but because it wasn't the Leafs and people weren't paying attention to it, we didn't find the other guy. Sick way to run a league, man. Sick. Awful. Bring Kessel back. He is at home doing nothing at this point. I don't know if he's officially retired, but he hasn't played in, I think, 2 seasons at this point. So, Jack Muscle, I totally agree. Like, I get frustrated with these guys, but it doesn't mean I hate them or they're bad players. Austin Matthews and William Nylander. I get frustrated with them, but I still think they're great players. And I wish Nylander did a little bit more defensively, didn't float as much, and people call him soft. But man, I'll tell you what, he shows up when it matters most, and he always has. He's always been that guy. So yeah, he turns it on. And a lot of people think that his attitude is just that he doesn't care. I don't think so. I think that he does care. I think that he does want to win. If you've ever watched the Amazon documentaries too, he's the only guy that is constantly, he's barking. He's barking on the bench. He was barking at Marner and Matthews to stop fighting on the bench, right? He's like, this is the problem. You guys always complain about everything. Just put your head down and get to work. He has that attitude. We know it was in the documentary. I think that with that attitude, you can win. I do. But you need a team. You need a team. So we all saw the same thing over the last couple of years. We all saw the same thing. But Spartan Warrior says they need a mini sell-off and light retooling. I would agree with that. Tearing it down does not make sense. No. And you have a lot of really good pieces. And most of the guys have no trade clauses, no movement clauses. Management needs more. I agree with that. And and to start benching guys. The problem is too, and I mentioned in a video previous, start benching guys. A lot of people pay a lot of money to go see those players, right? That's the devil's advocate, right? The way I feel about it, if you're not playing well, you should be stapled to the bench, and it doesn't matter, because then the message should be clear. Go out and play better, and then you'll get more ice time. It's really simple. It's really simple. The Islanders' whole first line was benched for the entire third period 2 games ago. They didn't touch the ice the whole third period because they weren't playing well. Their first line, Matt Barzal, did not touch the ice for 20 minutes. I'm just saying. What's your optimal return for Stolars, and who do you think on the Leafs has the most trade value? Okay, so besides... It's going to sound weird, but I have to be honest. I think it's Brandon Carlo. Because a lot of teams want a right shot defenseman that can help them. A lot of playoff teams do. So as crazy as it sounds, I think it's Brandon Carlo. And of course, I'm not talking about, like, if you're going down the list, like Austin Matthews has the most trade value, but you're not trading most of those guys. You're not trading Nyes. You're not trading a bunch of those guys. So I would say it could be, I think Nick Robertson sneakily could have some trade value as well, but I actually think it's Brandon Carlo. So take that for what you will. But that's what I think it is. Optimal return from Mike for Stolars. It's a tricky one. I want to say too, like, they're going to trade one of these goalies in the summer. They're going to, because Hildeby is too good and he's going to be claimed off waivers. And he is not exempt from waivers starting next season with his contract. So they can't sneak him through waivers at the start of the year like they did this year. He's too good. Somebody's going to pick him up. So they're going to trade a goalie this summer. And to me, I mean, we'll see who plays better the rest of the way, but Stolarz is the oldest. He has a contract in place. And a lot of people say like, oh, you just signed him to a contract. How can you can't trade him now, right? You just signed him and it's all this money and he's really not making that much. And he has term that is attractive to a lot of teams. So it's actually a good thing. So they are going to, I think they're going to probably trade Stolarz this summer. I do. But in terms of optimal return, sorry to cop out of your answer there. Probably draft picks. Like, I don't know, but I don't think they're very high, right? You get a second maybe, which is pretty good. Something like that. But it would be a couple pieces. I think it could be a bigger trade. Maybe the Leafs send a couple things the other way. I'm not a big fan of 1-for-1 trades anyway. Dennis Hildeby, they can't play him because they are over roster spots because they love Calle Yarncroke. And no, they can't carry 3 goaltenders. They can, but they don't have enough roster spots, salary cap implications, so they sent him back down. He doesn't have to go through waivers, let him play games, all of that stuff. He's not going to be playing with the Leafs. It's going to be Stolarz and Walls. So get him down there playing games with the Marlies. I think it makes sense. It makes sense to me. So this was a tough one, guys. This was a tough one, but tough one. Tough one for the Leafs. Robo and McMahon may be a pick for a top line player. I think there's going to be some tough conversations over the course of probably the next week. There's a trade freeze coming up now at the end of next week with the Olympics kicking in. So we'll see. Do you think Domi will stay for another season or be traded? I mean, they're playing him on the top line right now, but I have to be honest. Like, I love Max. I have a Max Domi jersey, for crying out loud, man. Like, I bought this thing. And, it's just, I don't know where he fits on this team with the way they're currently constructed. The other interesting thing is Scott Law needs a contract, and I think you should keep a guy like that around, especially because I don't see this team being like a bottom of the barrel team next year. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know with the way that they're playing. But anyway, I think that's a guy you want to keep around. Does he want to stay now because he's being played like 9 minutes a night? And he should be playing more. And then Berube goes on this whole thing about how the game against Vegas was unacceptable. There's guys that actually are playing great and have been for a while, so they're going to get promotions. Then he does it for half a period, or half a game, I should say. And then he's like, actually, let's go back to the thing that wasn't working. Let's go right back to the thing that wasn't working the whole time. All of that to say, they should keep Scott Laughton. I think you need a guy like that around. Works hard, really good in all situations, and he's really good for the room. Like, if you watch the blueprint, he's really, really good in the room. So you need a guy like that. I think it's important. But yeah, the craziest thing is like this team coming back from, it's not impossible and they're not mathematically eliminated. So coming back from the break, they can go on a heater, but they've made things so hard for themselves now that I don't know if it's possible. So very unfortunate. Stolarz for Jason Robertson. Stolarz wouldn't get it done. They have Jake Ottinger. It's a good idea. I wonder if you trade Stolarz somewhere else, use some of the assets to go out and get Jason Robertson. That'd be interesting. But the other thing is, what does Dallas do with that? If they don't sign a contract here, are they going to trade him? Or are they going to let it ride out and maybe sign somewhere else? You have his brother on the team. I'm not saying he's coming to Toronto. I don't even know if it's a really good idea because you have a bunch of scorers. You have Nylander, you have Matthews already, like these goal scorers. So interesting. Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to get to that in a second from the Linux PC. But yeah, I think it's certainly seeming like a lost season, Jeremy. And I think that retool for next year. I don't think they're like, honestly, don't think they're this bad, even on paper. It's just a lot of things have not gone right this year. But that's hockey, right? Like, you got to roll with the punches, man. And like the way that this team is built still, I think they should be winning hockey games. It's a structure thing. It's an effort thing. It's a mindset thing. And it's like, pick your poison on any given night. It could be one or the other. It's a disaster. So Linux PC says, Darius, how much faith do you have in Treliving if Toronto does a small rebuild? I have a weird relationship with Brad Treliving because he says things. So like when Kyle Dubas was here, him and the regime would say things where I would go, am I missing something? That was kind of like like how I felt. That's what the sentiment was. am I missing something? Are these guys, maybe these guys are actually smarter than I am. That's how I felt all the time, right? And then you find out that that's not the case, right? And you feel betrayed. And you go, wow, we wasted so much time here. Why did we do that? Then Brad Treliving comes in, and you can go, you're looking at the team, you like, we need defense. We need to build up the defense core. You need to do something about that, and the goaltending is not good enough. We need to tweak something. It's not that it's not good enough, but we need to tweak something and give Wool some help. Treliving comes in, he says exactly that, and you're looking at it, and this is how I felt at least, and you go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what I'm seeing with my eyeballs on my television screen, right? Perfect. And then he goes out and he does that, but it's not working right now. And some of the moves that they have made, some of the lineup decisions, some of the things, and I constantly like, I think that the organization like doesn't understand the fan base, because the fan base has always been the same. Like, Leaf fans just want a hardworking team. I think the organization doesn't understand that. So the Leafs have this weird mindset where it's like, yeah, just another game. And it's top down, and it's not just another game. You need points. You should beat a game where, you know, a star player leaves and he's returning back. You should win that game, or try to win that game. Now look like you're getting absolutely shelled in that game. So do I have faith in Brad Treliving? I think that he says a lot of the right things that I agree with sometimes, but the actions haven't always aligned. And, you know, he's made some moves where he's made some moves that are kind of safe, right? But I think that the prices for the Leafs on the market for certain guys via trade are higher. So there's that aspect. And then there's the aspect that I truly believe that there's a lot of guys on this team, in the organization, that don't actually understand, don't quite get what it means to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. And that is another problem, because now there's a disconnect between, to win the Stanley Cup, you need alignment between everybody, not necessarily the fan base, but there's certainly a disconnect between the fan base and the team right now. That's what I'm feeling, at least. But there's a disconnect between everyone. Like Stolar says, I'm ready to play, therefore he plays. If you're the coach, like, say something. Like, no, you're not actually going in this game. Disconnect between management, it seems. There's just a lot going on, and I feel like there's no clarity. So, do I have faith? No, but then who takes over, right? Brandon Pridham's been here the whole time. Maybe he takes over, I guess. But I don't know. I don't necessarily have faith in anybody right now, and I don't know if Berube is the guy to lead them past this point anymore. I think there was a time and a place for Craig Berube, and I've been complimentary of him because he wants to play a style that is similar to the Florida Panthers, and it works. But you need to execute on it for it to work. And there's flaws in his system. There is. 100%. And at some point, do you look at the team and you go, the players are just not doing what he's asking. We got to do something else. But how much closer does that bring you to a Stanley Cup? I don't know. And Ovi only changed the way that he played in his early 30s. And then he finally won a cup. So I keep looking at that, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen, for the Leafs. But the same kind of thing was happening with Ovi. So that's one thing that I keep bringing up as a comparable as well. But it's, do I have faith? Not a lot right now in all departments. So we'll see. But Paul, nice to see you. Early game for you again today. Out there on the West Coast. All right, maybe not the West Coast, but Western Canada. From Spartan Warrior, Matthews looks. I will say, by the way, because Jeremy said Berube is not that guy. I will say I've always appreciated Craig Berube's sense of humor ever since he's become the Leafs head coach. And I don't know if he's going to get fired at all this season. They might just ride it out, see what happens. But yeah. Matthews looks a lot healthier in the last 10 to 15 games from Spartan Warrior. Hopefully he gets back to his old self for next season, but the team will be a year older, and that defense core will be a year older as well. Yeah, they can retool, and they have some good players coming up. Like, William Villanova looks like he's going to be a good player. Ben Danford looks like he's going to be a good player, and everybody likes to micromanage. Oh, he didn't do this at the World Juniors. Give me a break. It's 5 games. 5 games in the World Juniors, and he's playing against other NHL caliber talent. Right? Like Juracek. Anyway. Ben Danford looks like he's going to be good. They got some players on the way. Easton Cowan, his first year. You're still figuring out the league. I saw it in junior hockey a lot. That first year is a write-off for rookies. You're figuring out the league. Right? And there's some rookies that are amazing, like Austin Matthews, but that's a generational talent. So Prophet saying, I've prayed Matthews and Ovi get connected in that way. I've always said, like, Ovi kind of had the same thing going on. Great goal scorer, never really changed the way he played, yada, yada, yada. Everyone was questioning him. He needs to become a student of the game. I don't know if anyone remembers that quote from like 2017, all of that garbage. So keep bringing it back to that. Robert with another $5 donation. Really appreciate you, Robert, here on the channel. Same with Paul. I'll get to you in a second, Paul, but I may be wrong here, but this year's Sabres remind me of the 93-94 Leafs. Not expected to do anything, but playing and winning on vibes. And the vibes are very good. They fired their GM, and all of a sudden, everything's good. They're playing with a lot of speed and skill. They made some really sneaky good moves in the offseason too. I think they actually won the JJ Peterka trade, which is crazy because Josh Dunn looks great. And Michael Kesselring was always a solid defenseman and a big body. So that's one thing I noticed tonight too. They got some big bodies on the blue line that can move the puck and skate. So the Sabres are actually a threat. And they should have been for years at this point, but they're only realizing their potential now. And they have one of the best goaltenders I've ever seen play live in UPL in net, who unfortunately got injured tonight. So I like that. I like that comparison there, Robert. I do like that. Paul with the $10 donation, and hope you're having a good night here, Paul. The Leafs win and lose, so it has been since the dawn of time, or at least the league. I think benching and bag skating should be the order of the day until morale improves. Well, those days, unfortunately, I think are gone. That doesn't really happen anymore unless your name is John Tortorella in Philadelphia. But that's I totally agree. But Paul, thank you for the $10 donation. Same with you, Robert. Your support has been unbelievable, and I'm glad you guys can, join up here and we'll all sit in our misery together. It's awesome. But another suggestion on a player to move, OEL. I think you can get a lot for OEL. OEL is going to the Olympics. That's how good he's been this year. So I think it's an interesting idea, but he's a big part of this team too. And you can't sell off everything, so I'm kind of on the fence about that. But I think if you wait one more year, this is the thing. If you wait one more year, do you tank his trade value? So that's interesting. And a lot of the contracts that were signed, like Chris Tanev and OEL, which still no update on Chris Tanev, by the way. Oh, he might get surgery. When? Is that going to happen anytime soon? Maybe. Are we going to find out? No? Yes? Hello? Anyway, a lot of those contracts that are signed, like OEL and Chris Tanev, I don't think anyone expected them to finish those contracts. So we'll see how that plays out. But Paul Taylor says, yeah, the Sabres are doing really, really well. While I don't want them to beat the Leafs, it's pretty disheartening as a fan to always see your team in the doghouse. They are most certainly in the doghouse. Speaking of in the doghouse, William Nylander. I'm joking. I'm not going to go there. Pat Burns was a very effective coach. Pat Burns, arguably one of the best coaches in Leafs history, right behind Pat Quinn. And you can go back like hundreds of years as well, or 100 years, and Conn Smythe and all that. But Willie wants out of TO. He's a great player in the wrong city who doesn't appreciate. It'll happen anywhere. I think there's just a lot of attention here, so people are just like, oh, he doesn't backshot. He's not a two-way center. I hate him. That's what it is. I appreciate him. I know what he is, and it's frustrating sometimes. Same with Matthews. But I know what he is. The team needs to go. The team needs to go, and the mentality starts from the top, the leadership group. But it is a mentality thing. It's not a skill issue. It's not the type of player that they are. It's please give a general shit. OEL has been a pleasant surprise, especially this year. He was good last year. This year, very, very good. I want to actually bring up his stats from this year because he's been really, really good. And he's going to the Olympics and he deserves it. And he has not missed a single game this year. Not a single game. Same with John Tavares. He's been unbelievable. He's been great. So you can see this. He's played 52 games. I'll make this bigger for you guys here too. He's played 52 games all year this year. He hits. He blocks shots. He's putting up points. He is scoring some goals here and there for the team. He plays a lot of, he plays a lot, period. A lot of time on ice. He's been great. Like, this is a great season for OEL. So he's been a bright spot. I think Jake McCabe at times has been really good too. And if you look at a lot of the advanced analytics, he is, arguably their best player. But OEL has been a fantastic, great season for him and well-deserved to go to the Olympics. So hope he does well there. Same with Nylander, obviously a couple Leafs representing. Austin Matthews will be with Team USA as well. So yeah, he's been good. So I just wanted to give him a shout out there, give him his flowers, and that's that. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here soon, guys. So any final questions, any final thoughts, throw them here in the chat. We're obviously gonna have you guys covered with a video tomorrow. It's the way it goes. Keeps going, and we got a big game coming up on Thursday against the Seattle Kraken. This is what the Atlantic Division currently looks like after tonight's results and everything that's gone down. The Leafs are in second last, just in front of the Ottawa Senators. So that's great. I said in other places, it's time to look, and this is from Terry, time to look at player development, current roster, and realize to move forward with a refreshed roster for the remaining players. So this is something I've thought about a lot as well. I think the Leafs need to upgrade their... So first of all, the guy who did the drafting, and I'm not going to bring it up here, go Google it for yourself. The guy who was running the drafts for the Dallas Stars the last couple of years is now with the Leafs doing that. So he has a great track record, and he just started. So it's going to take time to see the results of that, right? Now, that's great. The Leafs, Michelli has kind of worked out. I think the Leafs need better... It goes hand in hand with the GM, but they need better pro scouts. So, like, who's a guy in the league right now that we can go out and get that can help our goal scoring for cheap or relatively cheap or not even cheap? Like, do we go out and make a splash somehow, right? Go find that guy. There's not a lot of that going on. And True Living also, like I said, it goes hand in hand with the GM. True Living doesn't like to make trades in season. He might make some trades at the deadline, but he's a guy that'll build his team in the offseason and then make a couple trades at the deadline, smaller ones, and that'll be it. Right? So I don't know if that's necessarily the best fit, and this team needs a shakeup right now, that is for sure. But that's, you know, what he's known for. That's what he's doing. And I wonder if they need, you know, better pro scouts, go out and get, you know, a guy, go out and find better players around the league. But then again, it goes back to the whole thing that maybe the Leafs have a higher price to pay than some other teams. But Prophet, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Hope you have a great night. Paul, thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll wrap it up there. It went a lot longer than I thought I was going to, because that was a good rant session for myself and everybody here in the chat, because, you know, we're not doing well, and it's not quite the 18-wheeler off a cliff, but they're not playing well. So, ooh, that's a good question right before we wrap up here from Josh. Assuming the Leafs are not making the playoffs, do you have a team you have a soft spot for that you might root for in the postseason? I have a friend who is a fan of this team. It looks like they're going to make the playoffs this year. This can go for two teams, actually, but I'm going to say one team in particular. It looks like they're going to make the playoffs this year. I have a buddy who's a fan of this team. He stuck it out through the bad times, and they haven't always been bad. They actually had some success, you know, roughly 10 years ago. The San Jose Sharks. I want to see Macklin Celebrini and what that team can do in the playoffs. They're a young, exciting team. They remind me of the Leafs in like 16, 17 when, you know, all these guys were rookies. So I would say maybe the Sharks. I think that could be very exciting. And I think right now they'd be matching up with the Oilers, which would be a really good matchup, actually. So I'm looking at that team. Everybody else doesn't really excite me. When I look at the East, I'm not really excited. It'd be cool to see like Buffalo win a game or something like that, just to see what the atmosphere is like. But outside of that, nobody really excites me. I think Carolina's a boring team. So the results are there, but I just think, like, you know, when you watch a playoff game, like, they're a boring team. But anyway, just my thoughts. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you for another video tomorrow. At the end of the day, go Leafs go. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you for another video tomorrow.
Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama